The Stig. Episode 9. Roger me hard with your authenticity. Ooh. Give me organic until I prolapse. Oh, I want to see through your lens, baby. Felch me until I am fully monetized. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor, and you have the rare privilege of being able to dive into yet more of The Stig, my parody reading of The Tig, the now defunct, although threatened to be resurrected, blog created by none other than Harry's wife many moons ago. Well, what pace of frippery awaits us? Well, staring straight at me, there is something called a Tig Talk. Yes, the Tig Talk is with someone called Elecia Wiedemann, or Wiedemann. Who's she, you rightfully ask? Haven't a fucking clue myself. However, a little bit of investigative work, aka Google, tells me Elecia Ingrid Rossellini Wiedemann is an American food editor, writer, fashion model, and socialite. She is the daughter of Italian actress and model Isabella Rossellini and Jonathan Wiedemann, an American. Her maternal grandparents were Swedish actress Ingrid Bergman and Italian film director Roberto Rossellini. She was born and raised in New York City, being born in July 1983. She has 3 half-siblings from her father's second marriage. She also has a brother on her mother's side. She attended high school at the United Nations International School, where she became fluent in French. She attended college at the New School, graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in International Relations. She attended a 2-year graduate school program at the London School of Economics in order to receive a master's degree in biomedicine, bioscience, and society. She worked as a fashion model and spokesperson for over 10 years before Impatient Foodie. She was discovered by Bruce Weber and quickly became one of the industry's most coveted models, shooting with photographers such as Karl Lagerfeld, Patrick Demarchelier, Annie Leibovitz, Arthur Elgort, Mario Testino, and Craig McDean for magazines such as American Vogue, French Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Another, Muse, GQ, French Elle, and Italian Elle, to name a few. She has also been a spokesmodel for Luncheon since 2004 and has done ads for their makeup, fragrance, and skincare worldwide. Well, fascinating stuff. She was married to restaurateur James Marshall from 2012 to 2015, has 2 sons, and she raced in several triathlons and 3 half Ironman races. So, model, food editor, writer, socialite. Okay, so no real proper jobs, I suppose, is the short answer to all of that. And you can see why she is a model. Not a bad-looking lady. But what has Harry's wife got to ask her? Well, it's another incisive Tig Talk, of course, where she poses the questions of the day with her usual high level of cognitive function and wielding and sporting a turgid forensic erection. Question 1. My nickname is Re, Effa, Bambi, Bams, Bind, Electric Bind. Or is that meant to be Bird? It's difficult to see because it's cursive. So she has numerous nicknames. Re, okay, Effa, right, Bambi, presumably she's got long legs, or Bams, well, we can see where that comes from, Bird, and Electric Bird. Okay, well, thank you for that. My life is immeasurably enriched for that knowledge. Next point is, the first thing I do when I wake up is make a hot matcha green tea latte with almond milk and soy milk. Really, that's the very first thing that you do when you wake up. You don't get out of bed. So you have all of that stuff next to you, do you, to make a cup of tea? I'd suggest that might be a bit of a hazard. and possibly unhygienic to have those right with you in your bed. You might roll onto them into the night. For my mind, when I first wake up, I immediately pull my one phone that I allow myself in my bedroom out of the nightstand. And then I get out of bed. Sometimes I don't necessarily do that. I might roll and molest the person that's next to me. Depends on circumstances, doesn't it? But what I don't fucking do, the first thing I don't ever do when I wake up is immediately make myself a green tea latte. But I guess everybody's different. The next amazing insight is that she can't live without her dog, who's called Happy. If she had 1 week to escape, she would go back to Shella on Lamu Island in Kenya. If she only had $10 in her pocket, I would get an espresso macchiato and a magazine or newspaper. Good luck with that. And everything tastes better with extra virgin deep green olive oil. Well, absolutely fucking fascinating. But there's more that comes from that amazing insight shared with us, because Harry's wife's going to let us in over the actual dinner that she had with Elecia. Over a perfect dinner at Whitehall, now closed, evidently been markled, in NYC, I meet Elecia Wiedemann for the first time. We are with stylist extraordinaire Chloe Hartstein and my beauty guru Daniel Martin. Now, those of keen ear will remember that Mr. Martin is well within the coterie of Harry's wife and has popped up in Tom Bower's Revenge, commenting favourably about Harry's wife. He's managed to stay the course. Non-intimate secondary source that were picked up and taken off the shelf from time to time. And while ordering mushy pea fritters, a plate of oysters, a few branzini, and frites for days, what? I look over at Elecia and think, my lord, she is so beautiful, so stunningly, naturally. What kind of moisturiser do you use, beautiful, that she looks like those girls in magazines? Yeah, well, first of all, she does look like those girls in magazines because she's a fucking model, you dimwit. She's evidently appeared in many magazines. Not that your half-baked mind can get your head around that. And who the fuck sits there and goes, oh, you're so beautiful, so stunningly, naturally beautiful. What kind of moisturiser do you use? Yeah, right. More like you're thinking, fuck me, her skin's better than mine, the fucking bitch. Maybe if I pour more sugar in her dessert when she's not looking, she'll have an outbreak. That's more likely what had been going through Harry's mind. Harry's wife's mind, rather. But of course, revision of history and flattery. She looks like one of those girls in magazines, and then you realise, oh, wait, she is. Oh, so amusing. She was discovered by Photog. What? Photog? Photographer, you fucking fool. She was discovered by Photog icon Bruce Weber. She has graced every magazine with cachet, from French Vogue to Harper's Bazaar, and has been the face of Lancôme, Ferragamo, Asian Provocateur, and countless others. But when you sit next to her and break bread, or in this case, pea fritters, you forget that she is that girl. What you see instead is the kind of chick you just want to hang with. The girl gardens and sprouts her own lettuces. Fascinating. She trains with a swim team for, fun, competes in triathlons, and laughs loudly and unapologetically like the friends you've had since you were 14. Well, you haven't got any, Harry's wife. You draw them in, use them up, and spit them back out again, so what would you know about that? And lest we forget that she also happens to have a master's degree from the London School of Economics in biomedicine. Oh, and that her dad is a former Calvin Klein model turned Microsoft exec, who she effusively adores. I wonder why. Her mum is esteemed actress Isabella Rossellini, from lineage of iconic film director Roberto Rossellini, and well, her grandmother was, brace yourselves, Ingrid Bergman. I'd have saved myself a fucking Google search here if I'd have read this beforehand. Or maybe there was no real lunch that took place and Harry's wife has done a bit of Googling herself. But you wouldn't know it because she would never lead with it. She's just that effing fantastic. Elecia soon started her own website called The Impatient Foodie, and I, for one, could not be more excited to see what she has in store. Because, lady, I feel ya. What? When you need to serve something yummy for guests and that soufflé is just not rising as planned, fanar, cue the moment you serve up some vodka-soaked gummy bears, what? Over some vanilla ice cream, a move that both Elecia and I vouch for wholeheartedly, and frankly, is as Tig as it comes. So apparently, slapping vanilla ice cream over vodka-soaked gummy bears is hugely Tig. Classy, sophisticated. Don't you feel better for knowing all of that from that Tig Talk? But now, Harry's wife is off somewhere else. Beyoncé, bienvenue. Mais oui, je m'appelle Harry's wife. Yes, she's off to Paris, Gay Paris. And apparently it's the Insider's Guide to Paris. And there is an introduction with some photographs of presumably bits of Paris. And one of the photographs shows Agent Harry's wife there, wearing a flasher's mac and shades as though she's supposedly gearing up for her Inspector Gadget outfit that she wore at the service of Boeing just recently during the Platinum Jubilee. But let's have a look at The Insider's Guide to Paris, Part 1. Oh, how I love the City of Lights. Yes, it has been romanticised in our minds from cinematic shots of the Eiffel Tower to long walks on the River Seine, from Before Sunrise to Amille, to Jean-Luc Godard's Breathless. The food, the accent, the je ne sais quoi, oh God, of the women with their inherent chicness. I sigh un petit peu just typing this. The Tig Insider Guides are something I'm quite protective over. Really? They are the source of intel for a cherished trip. They are riddled with hidden gems. Well, I've not fucking found any so far. Sourced from friends whose taste I trust implicitly. You haven't got any friends. And reflective of the Tig's love for unearthing off the beaten track. Excitement that one won't find flipping through a guidebook. Q, friend of mine. You haven't got any. And insider for the Tig, Elecia Wiedemann. She's back again. Beloved Elecia, whose ooh la la lineage, Isabella Rossellini and Ingrid Bergman. You've already told us that in the preceding paragraph. Stop repeating yourself. Contributing to the genetic wonder, sensibility for fashion and style, and knowledge of Paris as her pied-à-terre for years, makes her the creme de la creme. Can you get any more French cliches in this? For this guide, Elecia recently launched a fantastic website for les gourmands, or those who are gourmands in training, appropriately entitled Impatient... You're repeating yourself again! And with her Parisian food finds and a few tigs to boot, all noted with asterisks, you are well on your way to whetting your appetite in Gay Paris. So the Insider Guide to Paris basically is all about the fact that she has got a friend and she's acquired her character traits and repeated what she's put in the last paragraph. And people used to read this fucking stuff and think that it was interesting. Fuck me. It's utterly mindless drivel, isn't it? There's another second part to the Insider's Guide to Paris. And, there's more besides. But do you know what? After that start, it's just too much for me. I'm overcome with so much insider's knowledge that I'm just going to have to park matters for the moment and let you cogitate and wait until I decide that I can be bothered to embrace yet more of this nonsense in a further episode of the Stig and tell you more, apparently, about the Insider's Guide to Paris. If you happen to be a Parisian listening to this and you can stand the ooh la la that you've received from Mademoiselle Harry's wife, then do feel free to provide me with your own insider comments in the comment section to this video and pour scorn on the nonsense that she, of course, spouts. Until then, I'll let you get back to listening to being felched until you are monetized. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.